Hey guys, so I wanted to pop back on here and do a miscarriage update for you. I am miscarrying right now. I just wanted to talk a little bit about what I'm going through and some things that are helping me get through it. So first, I want to talk about the type of miscarriage that I'm having. I spoke a little bit about it in my first video, and that video was very emotional and kind of all over the place. It was more me sharing my experience in the moment and not really very informative. So there are different types of miscarriage. The one that I'm experiencing is called a blighted ovum. It's basically when a fertilized egg implants, but then for whatever reason the embryo never grows. So it's also called an embryonic pregnancy. So my body continued to produce the HCG hormone and the sac continued to grow, and there was just no baby. So usually, unless you have spotting or cramping or any indication that you're going to miscarry, you might not find out that you have a blighted ovum until your first ultrasound appointment. In my case, that was 8 weeks. It's different. The standards are different depending on where you're located. Some might do 6-week ultrasound, some might do 12-week ultrasound. And if you don't have any bleeding or cramping, then it is a missed miscarriage. And that was my case. Before I found out that I had a blighted ovum, I had no signs of miscarriage. The only thing that I was experiencing was a lack or a decrease in pregnancy symptoms. My doctor said that that wasn't an indication that you're going to miscarry. Every pregnancy is different, but with my son, he's almost 4, that pregnancy I had hyperemesis gravidarum and I was so sick the whole time. It was just, I had every pregnancy symptom super strong, and I just thought I was getting lucky this time around. But I do think for me personally, that lack of symptoms was an indication that the pregnancy was not progressing the way that it should have been. Emotionally, it's definitely been a roller coaster. We weren't trying to get pregnant. No matter what, miscarriage is devastating, but I'm 24. We know that we have plenty of time to try again when we're ready. We have a lot of goals that we'd like to reach before we start expanding our family, and we were so excited for this child. We will not forget the dreams that we had for this child. I think we were able to kind of process that, okay, you know what, maybe this isn't the right time. We believe everything happens in divine timing, and it's not really in our hands anyways. It's out of our control. So we just needed to accept this, work through our emotions, and move on, and know that we have some great things coming. And then in the future, when we're ready to try again, I would love to share that with you guys as well. The first day that we had the first ultrasound, I was really emotional. I did record that day, and that's the first video that I posted. My boyfriend came home and we just laid in bed together and we kind of cried it out, and we just kind of sat with it. The following days I went through different emotions. I was angry, I was sad, I just all over the place. And my boyfriend, he's so supportive and he's such a good dad, really was able to keep Luca entertained and occupied so that I could spend some time alone. For me personally, that was the best way for me to handle it, is just having moments when I was getting too overwhelmed, too upset, to be alone, to lay in bed, watch a movie, whatever I needed to do, go for a walk, and that really helped me. But then on the other hand, spending time with family and laughing, and then watching Harry Potter. They put Harry Potter on HBO Max, and we've been having a marathon because my boyfriend has never seen all the movies, and I cannot believe that. So I was like, no, we're watching beginning to end. So tonight we're watching, what is it? I think we're on Goblet of Fire. That's been fun. I definitely think that as long as you're dealing with your emotions and you're working on healing your body and your spirit, making sure that you're doing some things to try and get back into balance. Miscarriage is so crazy. It is so emotionally painful. It is physically painful. It's not free. You have to take time off work to go to the doctor's appointments, or, you know, take days off because you're cramping too bad or you're bleeding too much. I've had 3 ultrasounds done. I've had my blood drawn twice. I've had to miss work. So gross. But I also had diarrhea, which is a symptom of miscarriage. Let me tell you, like, there's nothing worse. There's just nothing worse. You're bloody and then you have diarrhea. Anytime you sit on the toilet, blood is probably going to come out. This is like TMI, but if you're watching this video, you probably know what to expect. Blood's gonna come out. If you're peeing or pooping, any pressure, it's gonna make it come out, and it's gross. And not only do you have to like power through that, but it's sad. It's so sad. And in my case, this is an embryonic pregnancy, so I'm not actually passing an embryo. And that is such a traumatizing experience. There are loads of women on YouTube and Baby Center, different forums where you can find sharing their experience doing that. It is so awful. My heart goes out to you if you are going through it. I know that it's painful. You feel alone in it. You know, you're not. 1 in 4 women will miscarry. Half of those are blighted ovums, which is crazy that I didn't even really know. I think I had kind of heard the word, but I didn't exactly know what it was. And this whole experience has been so eye-opening for me and my boyfriend. We don't want it to be a taboo subject to talk about. We want to educate our children and our family members on what's going on, what this is. Hopefully, if you're watching this, you can get some tips if you're going through it, or if you know someone that is going through it. It's hard, but we have to give ourselves grace. We didn't ask for this. It's just, it happens. It won't last forever. The pain doesn't last forever. The blood doesn't last forever. Emotionally, it will stick with you and it might sting, but over time, it will get easier. Adding some things that have helped me. So I did get some Epsom salt because I wanted to take a bath, but I was reading that you shouldn't take a bath. If your cervix is opening, it can increase the risk of infection. So no baths, which sucks. Like, you can't have baths, you can't have sex, you can't use tampon. I'm sorry. I hope I'm not being insensitive. I know I'm probably coming off almost like irritable, but I'm just trying to be realistic that this is not a fun process, obviously, and it's just, I'm just being real with the things that you can't do. Not only are you dealing with a loss, it's just shitty. It's shitty from beginning to end. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. And I just love baths, so no baths, whatever, it's fine. I do have a heating pad and that's been lovely. Not anything fancy. I got it at Walmart for like 13 bucks. It's okay, it does the job. Put it on my back. When my back gets warmed up, I'll put it on my lower belly and kind of just go back and forth because my lower back has been hurting pretty bad when I get crampy. It doesn't feel good at all. I just feel like my insides are like ripping apart whatever's in there so that it can come out, and maybe that's more me visualizing it. So when I'm feeling cramps, that's like what I'm picturing, and it's just, it grosses me out. I've got some prescription ibuprofen that my doctor prescribed to me. I've got Pamprin and Midol. It's still really uncomfortable. I think that the emotional pain does make the physical pain that much more prominent and bad. It just doesn't feel good. The really thick pads are really uncomfortable for me. It is summer in Texas. It gets hot, like I just don't, and luckily I haven't needed them. I've put them on just in case, like in my mind I'm just waiting to like gush out all this blood. It hasn't been like that. I've been spotting. It comes and goes. I read online that usually at the beginning it can be like brown blood that resembles coffee grinds, and that's kind of like not a bad way to describe it. It's so gross, I know, but that's kind of what it's been. And then I've had some like dark red blood with like tissue, and then more light red spotting. It's been all over the place, and I think it'll just continue to kind of go up and down, do its thing. I'm gonna give my body 2 more weeks to try and pass the sac and everything that's in there. If it's not happening, then we might have to do a D&C. I am like team natural, but I also am team like I want to get this over with, and I know that we have to be patient and give our bodies time to do what they're supposed to do. It's in our DNA to be able to recognize that something's wrong and to let nature take its course, do what it needs to do. It does suck to have all of this still happening in your body, but you're not pregnant, you're not going to end with a baby, you just kind of want it over with. At least that's how I'm feeling. For my boyfriend and I, we grow through what we go through. I feel like our love has just strengthened throughout this process. I know it's really hard, but end of the day, the best thing we can do is try and live in the present moment. It's okay to sit in your feelings, and I think it's important to work through them. But if I were to just sit and be sad about everything that was going on, my mind would either be in the past, thinking about my ultrasounds and all that, or it would be in the future where I would be thinking about how this child isn't coming into fruition right now when I thought it was going to happen. I think it's important to try and stay in the present moment, and in that present moment, I have my son, I have my boyfriend, I have family and friends around me that want to love on me and support me and keep me in good spirits. You don't have to do it alone. I am going to be sharing how I plan on losing the weight that I gained. I gained 15 pounds in 8 weeks of pregnancy, which is crazy. I think deep down I knew something wasn't right maybe, and I was like stress eating, and that's okay. I'm giving my body and myself some grace. It's fine. We're gonna get back on track. I know how to lose weight. I know how to get snatched. My vanity is not my priority right now. It is good for me for my mind to create some goals that I can work towards. It helps me keep my spirits up, stay motivated, stay active, more happy in general when I do work out. So I'm ready to get my body back into the gym. I will update hopefully in a couple weeks. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.